After decades of saving into government pension schemes, when it's time to collect, many Nigerians across the country get nothing unless they pay.
Okay, let me see what I have here. 1, 5.
But while some retired people sink into poverty waiting for their pension, others are raking it in.
He's entitled to 300% of his basic as pension. He's entitled to 4 cars, replaceable every 4 years. One man.
I'm Yemisi Adegoke, and I want to find out why politicians are awarding themselves huge pensions while ordinary people are having to fight to get anything at all.
When you retire, it's like you are in hellfire. You are no more a human being.
Every year in Nigeria, thousands of nurses, teachers, and other government workers retire, expecting to swap their salary for a pension to support them in old age.
My mother was a healthcare worker for 27 years and paid into the pension plan.
We started looking into claims of corruption around pensions when Africa Eye was contacted by Obaji Akpet, a reporter from Cross River State.
When she retired last year, August, she should have started receiving her pension, but she didn't. Like many Nigerians will do, I had to step in to support her financially while she waited.
Life is no money, no nothing, and I cannot do anything. Cannot take care of my family. Even my uncle, my aged mother is there. I cannot take care of her. Cannot take her to the hospital. So I am just like that, stranded.
She reached out to the pension office in Calabar to find out why. And she was told she would need to pay some money to get her papers moving. Because she was anxious about her pension, my mother paid 6,000 naira.
In past months, 5 months, they said they will not give me arrears.
And then, in October, Obaji got in touch with the pension office. He too told us he was asked to pay a bribe of 10,000 naira, and that's when he got in touch with us.
Safe journey.
We asked him to secretly film any further interactions he had with the pensions officials.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
A month later, he was asked to come to Calabar by one of the officials. Her name is Angela Etta.
So far, my mother and I have made 2 sets of payments, and I still don't know when she'll get her money. According to Angela, I need to pay another person in the department.
Hi, Mrs. Etta.
We're supposed to give us 56 steps. You know, money in our own civil service is a step. The step they give to you that determine maybe I'll direct you to another person, maybe that person.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
I am off to see Angela again, this time wearing a hidden camera.
Welcome back from that clip, a documentary from BBC African Eye, together with the filmmaker and journalist Obaji Akpet, who is here in the studio to tell us more on that. Good morning and welcome, Mr. Obaji.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Well, before we discuss about the documentary, you studied linguistics and communication, and now you're into filmmaking. So what propelled that?
Okay, it was when I after doing linguistics, I found myself practicing journalism. I was writing for a couple of newspapers at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, my last contact was the Champion newspaper. I was bureau correspondent for Champion newspaper, and then I did a report that angered authorities.
Oh, really?
So my life was threatened. So I had I left Nigeria on self-exile. So at the time, I found myself traveling across Africa, getting stranded, trying to manage myself. And then I found myself in Abidjan, that's Ivory Coast, where I had to assist a friend who works for Al Jazeera at the time, manage his studio in Abidjan just to make ends meet. And then when I saw that things weren't adding out, like how can I run away from my own waters? I decided to come back. But when I came back, I was still incognito because I needed to, stay safe and all of that. So, and this traveling across Africa, I needed to tell the stories, my experiences, and all of that. And I knew film had a way, an extra layer to things. So that's when I began to teach myself film, and all of that. And I had amazing teachers like Ken Bonds, world-renowned documentary filmmaker. I sat in his class, and it was the spin of all. So why I got into documentary films, like I said, video stories have a way of adding an extra layer to things. So
it tells more of the story.
So that's how I started making films. I saw myself handling the camera, and I can never forget my first commission. It comes like boom. A television station in Amsterdam, where like I sent them a reel, and they're like, "Wow, can you make this first film?" That's when I started. And funny enough, this morning I just got an email from them. They want me to make another film.
Wow, congratulations.
So that's how I got into documentary.
So you kept the certificate aside, the linguistics and communication certificate aside?
Yeah, would I say I really kept it? A lot of it, you have to embed that into what you do, and you have, while coming into film, you need to show people, I came from a particular background. So all of that comes to, so filmmaking, it's an extra skill I just picked up.
Okay, so can you tell us more about the Cross River Film Agency you founded, known as Tell Africa Media?
Okay, Cross River Film Agency was one of my first brainchilds. My journey into working in the international media space would have started long ago. That's in 2013 when then I was working for Cross River Watch.
Okay.
The renowned Agbajalingo, that we call the prisoner of conscience, we were working together. I was also, working there as an undercover, journalist, and then we doing radical journalism then. When I got a call from, I always don't talk about my career without mentioning Ashonya Gene. She was working with Al Jazeera then. So I got a call. She asked me to be her local producer on a show. And guess what? The game changed. How much was I receiving? I was getting $200 a day. How much was my salary then on local media? I was getting 10,000 nairas basic.
Oh,
so
difference.
At the end of that project, I made $700 in 3 days, and that $700, I decided, why don't I start up at this production company? So I registered Cross River Film Agency.
Okay.
So when I registered it, things have really changed over the years. After traveling Africa and my whole scope going beyond just a state, because I was in Cross River at the time, I was now in Africa, thinking Africa. So I decided to pitch Tell Africa to Tony Lumelu.
Okay.
And guess what? I'm a fellow of Tony Lumelu Foundation. And today I'm using Tell Africa Media to produce wherever you see my documentaries. So this is like, what would I call it? Let me say appreciation to Tony Lumelu Foundation for what they are doing. I'm a beneficiary.
Wow. So tell us a little bit more about the documentary on the Retirement Hill.
Wow, Retirement Hill. I was at the time researching stories on public interest stories, because I love public interest. I just believe we all have to put our hands on deck to make our society change. Nigeria, where Nigeria is, it shouldn't be. So just while I was doing research, something happened. Just one morning, I got a call from my mom. She says she was retiring and bribe was being expected. I was like, wow, that idea, and all of that. So the problem with hard access stories is the fact that people don't really get to talk, and all of that. And even if you meet people, people shy away. And here I could convince my mom. I'll tell her, I could give her, oh, I'm your son, so I can't harm you, right?
Yes.
So you can trust me, and all of that. So that's how I pitch Retirement Hell. And then I was the undercover and also assisted in the making. I couldn't have done too many things at the time. So Katie Ma produced it. And then Yemisi Adegoke was the presenter on it.
Okay.
And it was the first fantastic all-black team on the project. And that's how we came about Retirement Hell. And I'm happy about the impact it's making. On the day it was released, the social media exec said something. He said, as simple as this film was, it's the first film that had 100,000 hits on the go.
Wow.
In most of BBC documentaries.
Wow.
So that's when I knew, and if our politicians are hearing, or our leaders, authorities are hearing, not taking care of aged people is a real thing. Because we are all going to get old. If my parents at their age are paying, okay, mom, I had to pay about it wasn't up to 60,000 naira, right, to bribe through. I'm going to retire. What if when it gets to me, I get to pay 1 million naira to get my papers through?
Yeah.
So you see where the leakage goes. So I wish, Retirement Hell doesn't just go through although we're considering at the.
We hope it will stop
Yeah.
with this documentary. It will help stop all the, bribery and corruption that is involved in it.
It is our earnest prayers, and we're looking at even doing a sequel to it.
Oh wow. Okay, so how can other Nollywood filmmakers tap into the potential fountain of the gold mine of documentaries that has emerged?
Yeah. First, I need to say there's a lie out there where people feel documentaries are not go-to. People don't see documentaries. What I have learned is if you make a film that people really care about, they go to see it.
But it's not the type of genre of filmmaking that people are used to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think there's really a lie out there that Nigerians don't see documentaries. Imagine BBC Africa Eye Retirement Hell was released one day and we had 100,000 hits. Imagine that for a film. Nigerians are watching, Africans are watching.
Yeah.
So people are interested in topics they care about. It's not enough for you to do a documentary about maybe kind of public sketch documentary, because that's the kind of documentaries we see around where you do about this politician has done this and all of that. People won't go to see such films. So if you're able to structure such genre in such a way, and all of that, and see the likes of Netflix are buying documentaries. The Journey of an African Colony is making hits. I will see that documentary. I even saw it today. In series, they bought that documentary. It was made by Ola, one of our very own, the historian, an author. Talking about the African history. These are things people care about. So there's an emerging market in it. And if you say filmmaking, who are we? Filmmakers. It goes beyond the genre of just making normal feature films, that Nollywood is known for. So I see documentaries. Documentaries in other places, like I see documentaries premiere in cinemas. They show through cinemas, so people go to see them. So if you make a film that people really care about, you invest so much in it, and all of that. I tell you, Retirement Hell, I don't know if I'm permitted to talk about budgets, and all of that. So it's an emerging market that filmmakers in Nigeria haven't really tapped into.
Yeah, still learning about it. We're all learning about it.
So it's really it. How much does a minute documentary globally cost? $1,000. That's finished documentary. So if I make a film and it's a 5 minutes, and I'm selling it to a marketer, in this era where there's a crave for content, people want to see content everywhere. Tell me, that's like on the average, that's $5,000, and having $5,000 now, you know what that means.
Something, yeah.
So BBC Storyworks commissions 5 minutes for $7,000. So as a filmmaker, if you learn that aspect, and documentaries are so easy to pull. I'm about going to, I wouldn't mention just because of my personal security, but I'm about going to a state now, right, to do a documentary. Guess what? It's going to take me just 3 days.
And you're done.
And I'm done.
Interesting.
So you can imagine, so documentaries are, those films that are easy to pull. Easy to pull without hassle. You don't need too many actors. You don't need, you just need talent, probably voiceover if you want them. So it's really an emerging market that the filmmakers should really look into in Nigeria that we haven't really. Kenya has tapped into. Documentaries are coming out of Kenya. I watched Softy by Sam Koko. It was such an amazing film. It premiered in Africa. I'm a very, regular at Africa. So you can imagine. So if people can care about those kind of films, Nigerians will also care. Just make a film that they care about. BBC Africa, I guess they produced the Black Axe, a documentary on Black Axe. Go check the hits.
I think I'll start watching this.
So you should, when we start making documentaries that people care about, trust me, they'll go see it.
So you have featured in a film currently in pre-production.
Yeah.
Will you be kind enough to tell us what it is about and what we should expect from it?
Wow. When I say I'm a filmmaker, filmmaking was actually my core. I also taught myself how to write scripts and also how to produce. And documentary is something you can pull off. So being a journalist and a filmmaker, is the better of a documentary. So recently I decided to branch into narrative film production.
Okay.
And my films are not just going to be such films. They also highlight public interest issues. Yeah, I just throw them about and all of that. It's just So I'm doing a film about a law. This one is paying homage to our legal system, our legal justice system. So I'm doing a film about a law fresher who is never doing well in her cases, and then she's about to quit, and then a very scandalous case is brought to her table for her to handle. And so in that movie we're going to see how she navigates through, and she tells herself, after this, if I don't make it, I'm really going to quit.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is in dedication to a lot of lawyers out there who are freshers. I know a couple of lawyers who are already giving up. They say like this practice, and all of that. So it's also, that's my dedication. So consider that film as a suit of, if you've seen Suits series in the US, the Suits of Nigeria. But the difference with this is not episodic, though there might be sequels. It's a film people should really look out to watch.
We'll watch out for it. Yeah. Well, before we let you go, a little advice for people that want to go into what you're doing.
Okay, my advice to fellow filmmakers. The truth is, I studied linguistics straight out of Unical in Nigeria, same school like every other person, and all of that. But see me, carrying a camera, I do shoot edits. So I'm always traveling alone, and can do all the things if documentary or if filmmaking is something you want to start with and you can't break the bank at the moment because funding is really a tough issue. Investors have really not understood the whole filmmaking climb in Nigeria. Then I think documentary is something you should start with. You can use their festivals or even television stations that accept movies with your phone. My first film, I made it with my phone. So you just have a camera in your pocket, and all of that. So if filmmaking is somewhere you want to veer into, just teach yourself, how to make films. You may not go break the bank like I did. I had to subscribe to some paid courses. You can start with YouTube videos. They help me a lot. Like if I'm going to shoot, we do that. Everyone steals. We go to YouTube, we get to see how to pull out this shot and all of that. So documentaries is a way to start without breaking the bank. But if you want to break the bank, I'm a legation now, so you have to permit me to make this remark. So if you want to break the bank, how much does a 60D cost to rent? 5,000 naira. You can start with that. Get good audio. Trust me, because audio is as good as the picture. You're good to go. So you start that, and then also have ideas on how to structure a story, because you're bringing people's everyday life in a way that people are going to care to watch. Because if you don't make a good film, why should I care? And as I talk to you, there are lots of international media stations, right, in search, craving for short forms. Like recently I got an open call for local heroes. What's local heroes? Just make a film about one guy somewhere in one corner doing great stuff that people have not heard about.
That's it. Thank you so much.
So that's that. So there's a market there for us. Let's start veering into documentaries. People watch documentaries.
Thank you so much,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Abuja. We really appreciate you coming here.
Thanks for having me.
And we watch out for your movies, your documentaries.
Oh wow, thank you.
I think we'll develop that interest in documentaries.
Yeah, I do. So and then, sir, I don't know. There's also something I check our students who study broadcast, right? Trust me, it's almost making me feel mass communication is an anomaly, because imagine 80% of the students who are going to be in class are going to tell you I want to be in broadcast or PR and all of that. They don't want to produce. And being in the broadcast, what are you showcasing yourself as a talent? So you can be hired and fired, right? So you can be hired and fired. Let's develop this culture of I want to be, I want to own this film, own this, and all that. Production, and that's what production gives to you. So I hope our educational systems can also fix that too, because if our education system has that right, I'm sure I won't be coming from linguistics, to produce people in the broadcast industry.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, you've heard from Mr. Obaji Akpet, the filmmaker and also a journalist. Documentaries are the new thing. We'll now take our musical break and we'll be right back.